Yo, what's up, dudes? Just here, vlogging all the way from China. Doesn't matter where I am, it's the US election. It's what's on everybody's mind, it's the hot topic. But, yeah, you know, it's... the verdict is in. Trump won. He is now the US president, the commander-in-chief, the top dog. You know, something that, like, has kind of, been spoken about or like alluded to for the longest of times. It's not actually happening, and it's crazy, it's big. Now it comes to the point of how did it actually come to this. From about a couple months ago, I called this because it's a situation where people are getting tired of the same old crap. Yeah? But yeah, it's the same old, and I think what this election kind of signifies is the failure of the left to really serve its voter base. The left-wing political establishment, the so-called liberal politicians, have failed to really bring forth like a significant, something that like helps them stand apart on their own merits to the opposition. For like, the last maybe 10 to 15 years, it's essentially been like, oh, it's either us or those, big bad evil Republicans, and it's just not enough. I think we're beginning to see, as we have with the re-election of Corbyn in recent times and the situation concerning Trump, is that an electorate prefers a stance. They like to see someone. It's better to go for someone who has a view and you have a better idea as to where they stand, or at least they profess to put forth a strong view compared to just a situation which is wishy-washy, which is what you get with the Clintons and the Obamas. And people are seeing through it, particularly on the part of Hillary Clinton, from the beginning. From when she decided to run for president, I was against it. And once Sanders joined the ticket, I, like many other young people, were hoping that he would win instead. And it was even then, from last year, many people were saying, if Clinton wins the nomination, Trump is going to win it. But if Sanders were to win it, there's a greater chance of him actually losing, because Sanders actually had like a strong, dynamic, progressive agenda that people of all backgrounds, whether they're like white working class, black working class, live in a blue state, a red state, a Rust Belt state, whatever it may be, were able to kind of relate to and work with. And Clinton, chance after chance, failed to kind of latch onto that. Simple things like, even if like she did something such as have Sanders come into the cabinet, or make Elizabeth Warren the vice presidential pick, or even the Treasury Secretary. Those are the simple things that could have maybe helped sway the victory in her favor. But again, the Clintons, as we know, are bought and paid for by Wall Street. And one thing we know with Clinton is that you're going to get more of the same. You're going to have a situation where, okay, the economy overall will improve, it will get better, you'll get more economic growth, the fiscal deficit will fall, the public debt will begin to fall at a slower rate in the long term. Yeah, you will have these things. I'm not denying that, but nonetheless, we've gotten the same things under Obama, and when we think of the populace as a whole, how have things gotten better for them? The economy is growing, but very little of that growth is going to the 99%. We're in a situation now where over 50% of the country in the United States are earning $30,000 or less. A lot of the new jobs that have been created, the job growth that they keep on going on about are in the low wage, temporary work, on-call economy. It's not sustainable. There's an issue with the system, and yeah, okay, with Clinton you may get some more stability, but you'll get stability and more of the same of a broken, ill-structured system that just works to further the interests of no one but the corporations. As for Trump, on the other hand, I have no illusions about this person. He's unpredictable. He's brash. He's cavalier. There's no denying that. And my reasons for wanting him to win aren't because I actually like him or like his policies. It's because he represents a long-needed shake-up, whether it's good or bad, for the US political system. And the fact that you had the whole of the mainstream media, all the different corporations, the political establishment against him, also says something. And once again, it goes back to the whole idea of not being seen to be too close to the establishment or the current system. Like, say whatever you like about Trump, but one thing that a lot of his core base in terms of the white working class or many other people of America will remember is this person, standing at the Detroit Economic Club among all of the main big corporations and saying straight in their face, if you continue to ship jobs overseas, we'll put a 40% tariff on the goods that you try to bring back in. He's actually telling them, if you don't play ball, I'm going to make it difficult for you to do business in the USA straight. And that's the thing, you didn't see that shit. You didn't see that come from Clinton. Clinton never really did anything to rock the boat and to actually disrupt the corporations and their way of doing business. Whereas Trump has at least proposed to do that. But even Obama said that. Obama used to always talk about, we're going to punish corporations, or corporations are not going to be allowed to ship jobs overseas. But then, where were the details? Where was the real declaration concerning that? And once he got into office, what did he actually do about it? At least Trump actually, addressed the situation head on and outlined what he will do or what he plans to do. Whether he follows through on that is another matter. As for the type of Trump that we're going to get, who knows? There's what he has in his manifesto in terms of lower taxes, 2-for-1 policy concerning regulations, in terms of for every one regulation that stays, 2 have to be torn down. The repeal of Obamacare. You have what is proposed in his manifesto. However, Donald Trump himself is, a lot like politicians. He doesn't really hold a view. I guess the best way of summing it up is that we can either get a Donald Trump that he's kind of spoken about through his manifesto and this campaign, which is, yes, lower taxes, repeal Obamacare, have this strong stance on abortion. Or we can get the Donald Trump of 3-4 years ago. I'm not too sure what the name of the book was, but there's Crippled America, which is the book he recently released, and then there's another book that he wrote about 3 or 4 years ago, where again it's like a kind of subtle political manifesto and talking about his views on the policies of America. And in that book, he actually, it's very different to the policies you hear from Donald Trump now, in terms of he was talking about in this original book, the one that was released about 4 years ago, talking about raising taxes on the rich, universal health care, universal education, I think. It was some different policies, so we never know. We could actually see a pivot on the part of Trump to that area, so it's not necessarily panic too much. And even with all that, even if he does end up following through on the policies in his manifesto, I think the election of Trump has, I don't know, it's good in the way that it's kind of brought back, it's like generated more interest in US politics among the population at large. Whether you like Trump or not, one thing we have to agree with is that Trump equals ratings, right? Donald Trump is to many Americans a larger than life figure and somebody who kind of represents, I don't know, American US capitalism. And it's that mega star, it's that mega celebrity in him that whatever it is, whether it was the debates in the Republican primaries, the Republican National Congress ceremony, whatever it was, the debates between him and Clinton, and I'm assuming the turnout, the actual voter turnout for this election, it's always sky high. Like, people tune in for Trump. People want to see him, whether you like him or not. You're talking about him, and that's one thing that's got him to win, is that everybody is always talking about Trump. Right? And I think in that way, he's gonna get the people, the public at large, I don't know, like, back into following politics and the parties. Like, there's going to be more interest, there's going to be more attention, there's going to be less apathy surrounding it all, and that in itself can bring many good things, right? In terms of there's going to be an increased like interest and like scrutiny of politicians and Trump himself, so don't forget about that. But yeah, just a last note before I finish off this video, this long talk, is I'm not surprised by this outcome. And as for what the progressive movement has to do, whether it's just the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton, Sanders, whatnot, is I think Sanders was good at doing it, but for other liberals, there needs to be more of a an approach regarding embracing those who feel they have been left behind, particularly the white working class. There's an approach that's being taken now where, you know, every time you switch it onto one of the main news channels or political shows, they're trying to like paint Trump to be so stupid and talk about how his supporters are deplorables and disgracing Trump supporters. That's not going to work. All you're going to do is just fan the flames and piss those very same supporters even more off and further neglect them. Don't do that. It's not going to work. Every time you try to do it, just like what happened with Brexit, you know, it just blows up in your face. Right? The moment like people, Trump supporters, or people who seem to be anti-immigration, white working class, right wing, whomever, the moment like they open their mouth and you start painting them out as like idiots, uneducated, deplorable, racist, xenophobic, like you just shut them out and you piss them off even more. Don't do it. But yeah, I'm signing out on this one. It's a one-off video, but very interesting stuff. This is going to be crazy. It's an interesting time to be alive and young. But shit, Trump won. Peace.